my target market is everyone who can put a radio on and just, it's everywhere. I don't really focus on America. I focus on people, and I don't care where they are, because basically, if they're Argentinian, for example, they might have family back in Argentina that they say, hey, check this out, and they have to like it too. Maybe their family. I've had songs actually break in other countries first before it comes here. So I can't think about particular countries and areas. I have to think about people and just reaching people and more or less getting into their heads as to what they like and what they don't like. So that's my focus, is people. I don't think about crossover at all. Crossover normally comes usually later on. Once an artist has a lot of success, then their company naturally wants to expand their market and then tries to do things in English or things like that. But for the most part, you have to have your base, success in your base first, which is the Spanish market. Everything else comes from there. So I never think about crossover. I think about that base market first. I mean, I found that there's a lot of bands that have had, it's a little more difficult for a band to have success, because the market is so used to focusing on one person. And a lot of times when a band does become popular, the singer, for whatever reason, wants to leave the band, do their own thing, or the label wants to pull them out. They feel that maybe the singer can sell more records on their own. It's a very soloist driven market. Why? I don't really know. It's been that way for many years, but there's still bands that do have a lot of success, like Mana and groups like that. But it's primarily driven by soloists for the most part. I just think it was inevitable as far as Latin music exploding. It exploded within itself, I think, first. I mean, there was a lot of hype a few years ago about this crossover boom. I knew that wasn't going to last too long. It exploded within itself, maybe through media, maybe through the internet, maybe it was through satellite television, where you have a Puerto Rican now who knows what's happening in Mexico and vice versa. They know what's happening in Argentina. That's the boom. And when that started happening, where they all sort of understood each other, the market tended to grow a lot bigger. Before, there were pockets of Hispanics that were into their own thing. And it was a fragmented market. It still is to a certain degree, but nowhere near as what it was before. So as the market grew within itself, that created a Latin boom, because now the numbers are even larger than what they were before, opposed to it being so, spread out and fragmented. Now it's much more of a unified market. Even though everyone's from different countries, it's a much more unified market within itself than it was 10 years ago. I would probably say radio first, believe it or not. I would say the big marketing tools would probably be radio first and then television, because it's still a radio business. You have to have radio hits. Most people are in their cars listening to the radio. And television is so, you only have but so many minutes available to do a commercial or perform on TV. They have to sell their advertising, they have their shows, they have the novelas or whatever they have. So it's only but so much time on television. You have to have hits done on radio and the street level first. It happens there first.
What about internet?
Not in Latin music yet. Not yet. It will happen eventually. I mean, the sales haven't even picked up in a big way through internet yet. But it's still a radio business. But it will catch up. I mean, it's taken this long to get this far, so internet will catch up. Yes, absolutely affected less. It's still affected, but it's more affected by street piracy opposed to internet stealing. But it's not as affected as nowhere near as much as the mainstream music that's downloading that's going on. Because for the most part, people still go to the record shops and buy records. It's not younger people that are buying Latin music. It's young people buying reggaeton, but for the most part, it's a little slightly older crowd that they're not so computer literate who are the ones buying Latin records.